I never expected a casual Friday night to become a test of everything I thought I knew about my marriage. Emma had invited her friends over for a small gathering. Nothing too extravagant, she said. I was tired from work, eager to relax, but agreed to stay. It was our home after all, and I wanted to be part of her evening, even if it was just in the background. The house was buzzing with laughter, clinking glasses, and snippets of music from the living room. I settled into the sofa, sipping a beer, trying to blend in with the hum of chatter. That's when I noticed it. The way Emma moved closer to one of her male friends, Jake. They laughed at the same joke, leaned into each other, their faces dangerously close. I told myself to stay calm. Maybe I was overreacting. Then it happened. She kissed him. Not a quick casual peck, but one that lingered for a heartbeat too long. Captured by a smartphone as part of a TikTok video she apparently thought would be funny. I felt my stomach drop. My jaw tightened for a split second. Everything froze. Friends who were filming laughed, thinking it was part of the act, but I knew exactly what it meant. I tried to speak, but my voice caught in my throat. Emma turned, her smile bright, eyes sparkling with mischief, completely unaware or pretending not to notice the storm she just ignited in me. "Relax," she said, waving a hand. "It's just a joke. Don't be so sensitive." I blinked, my mind racing. A joke. My wife, the woman I trusted, kissed another man and called it a joke. The casualness of it made it worse. It wasn't about the act, it was about the disregard, the message it sent. That single gesture, framed as humor, felt like a betrayal, too sharp to ignore. I stood slowly, setting my beer down. I wanted to react with anger, to yell, to demand respect. But something inside me paused. The calmness I had cultivated over the years held me steady. I had to process before I acted. Not because I was weak, but because reacting in heat would escalate something that needed clarity instead. Emma, sensing my change in demeanor, tilted her head, confused. "What's wrong?" she asked, her voice playful but tinged with curiosity. I took a slow breath, measuring my words. Letting her feel the weight of the moment. "Wrong," I repeated softly. "Emma, do you realize what just happened? This wasn't a joke. This was crossing a line. A line that we agreed was ours alone." Her smile faltered slightly. The room, once full of laughter and light-hearted energy, suddenly seemed smaller, as if the air itself had shifted. I could feel her friends glancing between us, uncertain now, sensing the gravity of what she had dismissed so easily. Emma's eyes widened as the weight of my words sank in. She opened her mouth, ready to dismiss me, but I cut in before she could speak. "Don't try to explain it away, Emma. A joke is funny because it doesn't hurt anyone. What you just did, kissing him like that in front of everyone, isn't funny. It's disrespectful." Her friends, sensing the tension, fell silent. The casual laughter that had filled the room vanished, replaced by a thick, uncomfortable pause. Emma's hand went to her mouth, a nervous gesture I hadn't seen before. "It's just for TikTok. Everyone does these silly challenges," she stammered, her voice unsteady. I shook my head slowly. "It's not about the challenge, Emma. It's about trust, about boundaries, about the fact that we promised each other that certain lines wouldn't be crossed, even injusticed." My voice stayed calm, measured, deliberate. I didn't raise it. I didn't shout, but each word carried weight, precision, like a scalpel cutting through the excuses she had wrapped around herself. Emma's friends exchanged uneasy glances, realizing this wasn't the reaction they expected. I could see it in their eyes. They had assumed I'd laugh along or brush it off, but my composure, my unwavering calm, threw them off balance. They were speechless, not out of fear, but because they recognized the authority in my restraint. Emma swallowed hard, her playful demeanor crumbling. "You're overreacting," she whispered, trying to regain control of the narrative. I leaned forward slightly, keeping my gaze locked on hers. "No, I'm not. You don't get to call this overreacting. You chose to turn a line into a spectacle, and now you're responsible for facing it. We can joke about harmless things, but this isn't harmless." She trembled slightly, her eyes flicking around the room, searching for support from her friends, but I had already claimed the space with quiet certainty. I let a beat pass, letting her feel the impact of her actions without saying another word. The silence was more powerful than any shouting could have been. Finally, she exhaled sharply, sitting back in her chair. Her shoulders slumped, her usual bravado gone. I didn't mean to hurt you, she admitted, voice barely above a whisper. I thought it was funny. I let the words hang in the air. Funny for whom, Emma? Because it wasn't funny for me. And that's what matters. Your amusement doesn't erase the disrespect, the betrayal. Do you understand that her head dropped slightly? The room quiet except for the faint hum of the refrigerator. For the first time, she wasn't defending herself. She wasn't deflecting. She was hearing the truth. The calm, unwavering truth that cut through the excuses. The room stayed quiet for a long moment, heavy with tension. Emma's friends shifted uneasily, sensing the gravity of what had just happened. The playful energy that had dominated the evening was gone, replaced by a stillness that demanded attention. I didn't break the silence. I let it sit, letting the weight of the truth settle on her shoulders. Finally, I spoke, my voice low but firm. Emma, I love you, but love isn't permission to disregard boundaries or to treat our relationship as a joke. A joke has consequences, too. And this one crossed the line you can't just brush off. She looked up at me, tears threatening to spill, her mouth opening and closing as if searching for the right words. I thought it was harmless, she whispered, voice trembling. Harmless, I repeated softly. It wasn't harmless for me. And it wouldn't have been harmless if I had trusted someone else to respect what we have. The question isn't whether you meant harm. It's about what your actions communicate. Tonight, you communicated disregard. That's what matters. Her eyes widened, the usual defensiveness gone, replaced with vulnerability. She finally grasped the seriousness of her behavior. Not just in my eyes, but in the eyes of everyone who had witnessed it. The realization hit her like a wave. The calm clarity of my response left no room for excuses. No space to hide behind humor or deflection. I took a slow breath, softening slightly. I'm not here to punish you, Emma. I want you to understand. I want us to face this honestly or it's going to fester. Do you understand that? She nodded slowly, her fingers twisting nervously in her lap. Yes, she admitted. I understand. I didn't think about it like that. I thought it was just a silly video. I didn't think about how it would make you feel. I reached across the table, my hand finding hers. Then remember this moment, I said quietly. Remember that love isn't just laughter and fun. It's respect. It's trust. And it's knowing when your actions affect someone else, even when you don't mean them to. Emma's shoulders slumped further, a sign of surrender and acknowledgement.